Hello, my dear friends. In this episode, we're going to talk about the cultural revival in China and what it actually entails. A lot of people know how quickly China is developing, but only a few realize that China invests lots of money in the restoration of cultural property. Furthermore, they invest a lot of money in modern buildings of cultural significance, in the restoration and preservation of cultural sites. And as time goes on, the more it progresses. What's fascinating? The quality of the architecture is constantly improving. For instance, right now we're in the town of Luxi. The full name is Luxi Gucheng. It's situated in Yunnan province, in the mountains, approximately a 3-hour drive from Fengqing, on a stretch of the Chama Gadao. And there's an ancient village down below. There are lots of ancient buildings, and a part of the old road still remains here, and so on. They've been preserving it as a protected cultural site for only the last decade or so. And they built a beautiful viewing platform right where we're standing. It's a totally modern building, but the quality of the architecture is much higher compared to what was done, say, 10 or 15 years ago in bigger cities. They've learnt to use natural materials, wood, mural painting, exactly like it was done in ancient times. And I have to say they're getting better and better at it. If you look into Chinese history, you would see how many times the Chinese civilization was nearly destroyed, how many times it was invaded, or suffered from internecine wars. And every time China managed to restore its national and cultural identity. They kept rising from the ashes, and quite quickly as well. We see history repeat. During the Cultural Revolution, a crazy number of monuments were destroyed. Many cultural and religious figures were repressed. And of course, it was followed by a long period of cultural decline. But now it's being restored at a tremendous pace. It's very important to realize this and to learn from their experience. That's exactly what the Chinese can actually teach us. What's worth paying attention to. Cultural revival is directly related to economic growth and the revival of the state as a whole. The idea of their unique national identity gives a way for the young generation to stay in touch with their roots. This attracted the attention of the Communist Party. The Communist Party is still in power, but you wouldn't know it unless you looked at some government buildings or read the news. It's not what you would notice. You'd notice a prosperous, economically developed country, even on the outskirts of which, in the most remote corners by the border, in the mountains, you'd see a revival, a fast and persistent development. Talking about the cons, you can't help but notice that the cultural level of the Chinese people is far from ideal. Since these people suddenly got rich, suddenly gained a completely new experience, many of them did not manage to adapt to the new reality. Some local customs might come as a surprise and not at all correspond to the declared cultural level. But I'm sure it's just a matter of time. The young generation will grow up and the changes will become more prominent. There'll be a transformation, definitely. All people should be surrounded by beauty from birth and not be exposed to garbage or dirt or lack of culture. It's essential to create beauty, to contemplate beauty, and develop and maintain cultural values. Enjoy your tea, dear friends, and see you again soon.